Greetings, Moonlight citizens. This is your Moonlight King with the latest episode of Moonlight Kingdom Reviews. And we going bad this time. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do on the run? Ladies and gentlemen, we are reviewing Bad Boys Ride or Die. That's right. The fourth installment in the Bad Boys franchise. Let's get into it. Alright, before we get into that, some background for this film. Directed by Bilal Adil I hope I pronounced that right. Starring Will Smith, Martin-Lawrence, with a budget of $100 million and a box office to date of $215.3 million. Major success, and it all keeps on rolling. Produced by Columbia Pictures with a release date of 7 June. This movie came out in 7th of June, and I'm recording this 18 June. In just 7 days. Okay, that's not quite right. My math is terrible. In just, let's say, a little over a week, this movie with a budget of $100 million made $215 million. This is the fourth film in the franchise. So, yeah, that's all the background you're getting on that. Now into the actual movie. Bad Boys, Ride or Die. As we get into this review, I just want to say this movie starts with this really nice touch as the production company behind it is Jerry Bruckheimer Productions. But instead of the usual Jerry Bruckheimer logo, you know, the tree getting hit by lightning, it says Don Simpson / Jerry Bruckheimer Productions. This is a nice touch because the first movie, when it came out, was made while Don Simpson was still alive. You know, like this is a nice shout out to him, in my opinion. You know, it's a nice like, hey, we ain't forgot you, Don. You know, thank you for helping to start this franchise and all the movies you made, like Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, who brought us movies like Top Gun, Days of Thunder, The Rock, and Bad Boys. Yeah, so now let's get into this movie. This movie, okay, spoiler alerts all over the joint, all right? I'm letting you know now, all right? There's going to be spoilers all over this place. But right off the bat, I want you to know this movie is an 8 out of 10 movie. I will explain why. Yeah, that's the non-spoiler review. That's as close as you're going to get to a non-spoiler review. So yeah, 8 out of 10 movie, you know. So yeah, let's get into why. This movie does the sequel cliche of, I know it's the fourth movie in the franchise, but it does the sequel thing of like, hey, let's do the first movie again, but this time with a bigger budget and change enough things so it's not just a total remake. And, you know, but like, let's flip a few roles so that it's not totally a thing. Because the beginning of the movie, the beginning of Bad Boys 3, you see Mike and Marcus racing to be there in time for Marcus's grandchild to be born. In this movie, they're racing to Mike's wedding. It opens with them like rushing to get somewhere. You know, Marcus cries at both events. In both events, Mike tells him to knock it off. Like, he even says the same thing. He's like, see, that's that bullshit. Like, yeah. Yeah. Also in this movie, it's it's Marcus who almost dies instead of Mike. In the last one, Mike almost died when he got shot. In this one, it's Marcus who almost dies when he has a heart attack. Yeah. When he almost dies, he enters this weird Doctor Strange trip, like Doctor Strange mind trip, like in the movie when he got knocked out of his own body and the Ancient Ones sent him barreling through space and time. It's like that. And he's seeing all his past lives and, you know, through all this stuff, he learns that him and Mike are like spiritually linked through the ages, whether they be man, animal, or what the hell ever. They are soulmates, as he says, but not the romantic kind. Like their souls are just bonded, you know, regardless what they look like, regardless where they are in life, they always somehow manage to find each other. That's what this, you know, the whole trip thing is coming to say. And yeah, Teresa, the character of Teresa got recast with Angela from Why Did I Get Married? And I don't know why. I didn't look into that. I guess Teresa Randall, there must have been a scheduling conflict or something. I don't know. She couldn't make it to this movie, so they decided to recast her as opposed to cutting the character out of the story. But yeah, and there's a scene where she's like, "I love you, Marcus," and it's like that isn't the first time this actress has said that, because in like Why Did I Get Married, her husband's name is Marcus. But it's like a totally different situation over there. I'm glad isn't that situation here. Anyway, so yeah, they were going to Mike's wedding, and Mike got married to a new chick who is his therapist, which is a nice callback to the second movie where, like, oh yeah, he was like, oh, I did my therapy. Yeah, you know, I went to like go see a therapist. Everything was cool. and really he just banged his therapist. So like it's a nice little callback to like, oh, like the therapist is like, like he was like, in Bad Boys 2 he was banging his therapist. Now in Bad Boys 4 he's marrying her. It's not the same therapist, but like, yeah, like dude got a thing for, I don't know, dude got a thing for therapist chicks, man. Like it's a good thing that she's a therapist because mental health is really important. Like, but yeah. Anyway, so Marcus has a heart attack, and there's a scene where he like after he recovers, he wakes up and immediately gets like undoes all like the hospital stuff and everything. I'm sorry, no, I do not. This is some nonsense, man. If you had a heart attack and then you woke up in a hospital, whether it be days later or weeks later, you're gonna be a little groggy. You're not gonna wake up full of energy, like, let me go run to the roof and like feel the air. I'm like, no, man. You would be like groggy for a few seconds because you've been asleep for what we'd have to assume is days. It would. I'm not. Your muscles wouldn't atrophy. You'd have to be out cold for a couple weeks for that to happen. But like, it would take you a minute. You wouldn't immediately be like up and about. But yeah. What else? Michael Bay has a cameo in this movie as a Porsche driver that almost gets hit. He doesn't almost get hit. He almost runs over Mike when like Marcus is trying to prove that he can't die. So after going through this Wade Doctor Strange mind trip thing, he's under the impression that he can't die. Like it's not his time because Captain Howard in this mind trip told him it's not your time. So he thinks like, well, since it's not my time, it means like I can't be killed by anything because this isn't how I die. Like, so he walks backwards into ongoing traffic to prove like, see, it like I can't be killed by anything because this is not how I die. This is not my time. I still got time on this earth, So yeah, I'm basically bulletproof, and it gives him this like bravado to do all this crazy stunts and stuff, man. Like it's kind of like in the previous movie where Mike got shot and almost died, and he came back. He didn't come back thinking he was bulletproof though, because see, man, this is flipped. Because in that movie, it was you were bulletproof before you got shot. You willingly threw yourself into the line of danger before you got shot. Now it's like, you realize, oh, you're mortal like everyone else, man. It's like second thoughts and everything. There's second thoughts now. But yeah. They're going to find information on Captain Howard. Yeah, the captain is framed for crime he didn't commit by this criminal. Yeah, he is set up to look like he was working with the cartel, laundering money, doing shady stuff. And an investigation is ongoing, and it's up to Mike and Marcus to figure out what happened. He left them a video explaining that, I was looking into this, and I was looking into this, and they found out what I was doing. So yeah, no, I was looking into this stuff, and if you're reading this, I must be dead. And like, here's what I know so far. Go to like, what's it called, the Coke Bottle King, and he'll tell you, he'll fill you in on the rest of this stuff. So yeah, they go there, and there's this shootout in a nightclub. It's really well made. There's these cool drone shots, and the action is easy to follow. There's no quick cuts or anything, and it's not quite. It's not like the shootout at the Zoe Pounder's house with like the camera going through the holes and all that, and but it's got its own style to it. That's what I like about this. It has its own style to it. It's not like the previous one where it seemed like, okay, we're gonna do this Bad Boys movie, but we're gonna try to ape Michael Bay's style in places. It's like, no, it's got its own thing going on. Like, I like the environment that they're shooting in is all colorful and beautiful, and there's all these different art exhibitions and stuff going on. And there's a bit of comedy spurs throughout with Marcus trying to get himself some candy. But yeah, there's a perfect blend of action and comedy, especially when like Marcus goes full on, I like John Woo in Hardball, like just runs like dual wielding handguns and everything, diving at people. Like, what the what? Yeah, there's a callback to the scene in Bad Boys where the bad guys get away, but like Marcus is narrowly saved by Mike from getting run over, and they like stand up and they have this pan around camera shot, to show the heroes in like their defeated moment. Only this time it's Mike who gets saved by Marcus, and they even do this pan around just like they did in the last movie. Yeah. I'm confused though. Is Marcus out of retirement in these movies? Is he still retired? Because they don't clarify that. I mean, I, I don't. I'm so confused. Like, is he out of retirement? Is he still retired? Whatever. So, okay. After seeing his performance as the seemingly nice guy in a suit in the Rock Dwayne Johnson's movie San Andreas, and seeing him play a similar guy in Ava, you just know Ewan Grufford is playing the bad guy. Like, he's the mole. There's the one of the reasons Patton Howard is being set up, and the story happens as it does, is because there is a mole within the police department, and it has to be him. It's too obvious. There's another guy who's like just a jerk throughout the whole movie. He's gung ho on Captain Howard being the guy, but like it would be too obvious for it to be him. Like, clearly it's the one guy who's like actually willing to help. Plus he's like Mike's ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend, just like in San Andreas. So if you've seen San Andreas right away, like, oh man, Ewan Grufford is playing the bad guy. Like, he's one of the bad guys, man. Like, yeah, the other guy was too damn obvious, but yeah. So they find out, like, okay, the cartel, has to do with the cartels. Let's talk to someone who knew the cartels, Armando, Mike's son from the last movie. And the film goes full U.S. Marshals when the plane that they were transporting him in, that Mike and Marcus were also on, goes down in a lake. But before that, the fight scene in the plane kind of reminded me of Triple X not State of the Union, Return of Xander Cage. Yeah, Triple X Return of Xander Cage, when they were all like fighting and the plane was going in all kinds of directions and they was tilting up and down and it was like 0G. And it was really cool to look at, man. It was interesting because you'd think the bad guys got the upper hand, then the plane would do something, and now the good guys. Then think the good guys are about to get the upper hand, but then the plane would do something, and it's like this back and forth, and yeah, it was really well done. So the film goes full U.S. Marshals when the plane goes down in a lake, and they end up on the run with the Marshals hunting them down after being framed by the bad guys. The lead Marshal is Captain Howard's wife, who wants to see Armando dead because he did kill her husband. Turns out that he killed her husband, not because, it turns out that it retcons the previous movie, because in that movie it was said that Armando killed Captain Howard because he was one of the people responsible for incarcerating Armando's mother and imprisoning who he thought was his father at the time. But it turns out that the cartel actually gave Captain Howard the green light because they found out he was looking into them. They found out he was, and that's why he took him out. And Armando is like, yeah, I know who was in charge of the whole thing, and I can prove it. Captain Howard wasn't working with the cartel; he was trying to stop them. That's why I had to take him out. I was tasked with taking him down, and the fact that he was tight with you was just a bonus. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the heroes being wanted men actually becomes a factor, unlike Enemy of the States, which he's wanted for murder, but like none of the cops are looking for him and he goes from A to B really easily. So yeah, this is actually a factor here. You actually do see them getting hunted down by gangs and everything. So they go to Tiffany Haddish for help. She has a role in this movie, a cameo. It's like Pete Davidson in Fast X, basically. They go to her for help getting guns and ammo and stuff. And in this cameo, she's just lusting after Mike. It's kind of like her character. She's basically her character in Nobody's Fool. In this movie, she's basically playing the same character she played in Nobody's Fool. Yeah, when she was lusting after, what's his name, Max? The guy from Catfish with the white hair, that guy. I know the other guy's named Neve, so she was lusting after that guy. I think his name is Max, but yeah, she was lusting after him, and she's lusting after Mike the same way. She betrays them for the money because the bad guys also put a bounty on their heads. So yeah, she sells them out. But then another group of bad guys shows up to steal them and get the money. One of them is played by DJ Khaled, who was in the last movie, and he's looking to get revenge for that. That's why he's seeking to get this bounty, because the bounty said dead or alive. And so yeah. Okay. Oh, in case you ever wondered what happened to Sanchez and Ruiz, those two Latin American dudes from the first movie who were helping Mike and Marcus. Yeah, they're dead. Yeah, this movie confirms they are dead because Captain Howard pulled them out of retirement while he was looking into this case, looking into cartel. He pulled them out of retirement to help him look into this, and the bad guys found them and had them killed. And that's how the bad guys caught on to him that he was looking into this stuff. So it's like, you know, if this was so big and so important, Captain Howard, why didn't you just call Mike and Marcus? He said like man, like I was so worried about protecting you guys, and now I'm having to. It's gotten to the point that I have to drag you into this. I'm like, dude, you had to know that at some point you were gonna pull them into this because like they're like the. You know how good they are. You know how effective they are. Why didn't you pull them in from the jump? You got two people killed. I'm not. I'm not sliding Sanchez and Ruiz. Like they're probably really good cops for all we know. But damn, man, like they actually seem like really nice dudes. Yeah, they had beef with Mike and Marcus because it felt like yeah, Mike and Marcus were like the two main guys, and they were like the B team. They're just backing them up. Because in the first movie, we see them, and like the first order they get from Captain Howard is back them up with whatever they need, not go investigate whatever. It was just go back them up, and also do this other busy work that probably doesn't mean anything. Because I don't know who's I don't know who's who. It's never. I don't think it's specified who's Sanchez, who's Ruiz. But one of them says, "Hey, he pulls up a reasonable lead. So like these drugs belonged to so and so. It can't be him because he's dead. What about his guys? Well, and then Abraham was like, well, it wouldn't be his guys. They're not smart enough. But go check them out anyway. Like, yeah, go check out a lead that's probably not even a real lead. And then they disappear for like the rest of the movie and only show up now and then to be comic relief. Or until the third act when they help Mike and Marcus because like, you know, they're the backup cops, basically. They're the B team. You know, if Mike and Marcus are NWO, these guys are NWOP. No, better analogy. If Mike and Marcus are Triple H and Shawn Michaels, then Sanchez and Ruiz are Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. Yeah. But anyway, that's a bummer. Like, I actually like those two. I like them more than those two other guys, the two other Latin American cops from Bad Boys 2, who are basically playing the same characters. They're just like they come out of nowhere just to be comic relief. Like, yeah, they back up Michael Marcus at the end, but that's like only at the end. They serve to antagonize more than anything. There's a joke in Bad Boys 2. They come out of nowhere and they're like, "Hey, we were thinking of ordering a bit of lunch. You know, a couple of crispy crunch, a couple of grape sodas, like a couple of grape sodas." I'm just like, what the? What does that even mean? I don't get it. What's that supposed to mean? Is that supposed to be funny? What is that? Like, sure, Mike and Marcus respond with a racist joke, but still, man, like, you know, like that, it wasn't funny to be, none of this stuff was funny, but hey, moving on. Oh, so the heroes do get help. They get help from Thorn, the big dude. He was, what's his face? He was Green Arrow's brother on the show Heels. I don't know. Stephen Amell. Yeah, he played Stephen Amell's brother on the show Heels. So that guy, he's in this show. He's back again. He was the big tech guy. So yeah, he and Vanessa Hudgens are a thing in this movie. So yeah, they go to him for help, and he tells them all. He helps them find out like what else Howard was hiding on the CD, like not CD. What else Howard was hiding, and you know Howard lets them in on. Yeah. You know, I brought Sanchez Ruiz out of retirement. The main bad guy is this guy. Blah blah blah. So yeah, and they find out that, oh no, the bad guys are going after the people we care about now to smoke us out and get the information that we have. And they call up Teresa's place, and Reggie is there. If you remember Reggie, he was in the last movie, he was like a Marine because he'd like, you know, he was the one getting married, and it was announced that, yeah, he was a Army Marine, a United States Marine. And even in this movie, when we see him for the first time, you know, he's just chilling on the couch. Like Marcus is like yells at him like, "You need to get a job, man." Like, but I'm a United States Marine, sir. It's like, well, you need to deploy. Dude, like, we just got back. Like, you know, like I'm on leave right now. Like, man, I'm just, the reason you see me just lounging here is because like, oh, I just got back from a deployment, man. I'm just chilling, you know. Like, and dude, it's good that they mentioned at the beginning of this thing that, yeah, he's a United States Marine. He's not just an Army guy. So Man, Reggie Wick for the save, baby. Reggie Wick for the save. That's the best way I can describe this shit. Man, they send like an assault team, full tactical gear, and Reggie single-handedly takes all these dudes out, man. He saves the Burnett family from this whole damn army single-handedly, man. He takes out like 5 guys armed with machine guns and body armor, and all he got's a handgun. And he like puts a machine gun, guns a couple of them down, takes down a couple of them hand to hand, like some full-on like John Wick badassery going on here, man. It's amazing. You ain't go, dude. This is a serious highlight, man. Like, yo, this character was introduced as a joke, and now he's one of the biggest badasses in the series. Like, hot damn, man. They really, not that the character needed redemption, but damn, man. If he ever needed it, he got it. Damn, man, this is a fire scene right here. Even like Mike and Marcus are like, oh, damn, man. Like, they're surprised. Like, man, he really saved everyone's ass. Oh, dope. And then, like, you know, Marcus finally accepts him. He finally opens up 100%. Like, yo, man, my snacks are your snacks. But yeah. Whew. Anyway, so they load up on some weapons, and the bad boy, you know, they load up on weapons and get ready to go face off against the bad guys while the song Bad Boys by Shaggy plays in the background. This is the second Moonlight Kingdom Reviews to have a song by Shaggy play a part in the story and set the tone for what would come, man. The next thing you know, I'll be reviewing a movie with the song Bombastic in it somewhere. I don't know, man. I'll find something. There's bound to be a song or a movie somewhere with the song Bombastic in here. And I'll make this like a weird Shaggy trilogy, man. Shout out to Shaggy, wherever he may be. See, when they go to confront the bad guys, they initially start out real stealthy, and Mike has the opportunity to take out the bad guy with a sniper rifle, but he doesn't go for it because throughout this movie, he's been suffering from panic attacks at like random moments in the story throughout the movie. It was never explained why until it was time for the panic attacks to come to an end. Like, because he is so rattled by these panic attacks that he starts to see Captain Howard again. And it is seemingly to let him know, you know, he without saying it, but lets him know, like, hey, man, you know, his death wasn't his fault. The death of Captain Howard wasn't his fault. He's got nothing to be guilty about. He can, like, let it go. But, like, they come to, like, the panic attacks just stop, and then all of a sudden, like, he gets slapped a bunch, and Chris Rock probably liked that part. Like, it's up to Marcus to slap him out of it and like get him back to like who he was, and he goes into this rage mode and he takes out a bunch of people, kind of like Dorn did in the last movie, helps him take out bad guys. And the way they were hiding behind something while they were being shot at before they both yelled at each other and then ran back into battle, it's kind of similar to this one scene in the first Bad Boys movies where they were in like the airport hangar and they hid behind this big propane tank. Also, if you're in a shootout, a terrible place to hide is right behind a propane tank. Just saying, propane is gas, man. It explodes. It's flammable. Like one straight bullet and boom. Anyway, yeah. So moving forward with that. In the last movie, it was Marcus who had to be, you know, convinced by Mike to get back in a battle. Now it's Marcus convincing Mike to get back in a battle. Like I said, do what the last movie did, but flip it and change enough things so it's, you know, so it's a different movie. I'm not mad at it. I like it. A lot of the best sequels, you know, are just the first movie again, but with a bigger budget and a couple changes. I'm really dope with that. I'm down with that, man. There's so many cool movies that follow that formula. Hell, just ask James Cameron. Anyway, there's this there's this cool section when the big shootout inside this abandoned like theme park or fairgrounds. I think it's a theme park, like an abandoned water park or something, where Mike is shooting from like a first person perspective, like an FPS game or something out of the movie Hardcore Henry. And this final shootout is just balls to balls. He's like, and I've seen the behind the scenes where he's operating this like camera. We see like a zoomed up shot of his face, and then the camera pans back around, and suddenly it's an FPS view of the gun he's firing. Turns out like that was a camera that Will Smith himself was actually handling. So yeah, that was really cool. If we ever, this guy should definitely do a Call of Duty movie. If they ever decide to make a movie about Call of Duty, Bilal Adil should definitely direct that shit. They direct the heck out of a Call of Duty movie. Anyway, this action shootout is just balls to the walls, bullets flying, and it's really reminiscent of the last movie. In the last movie, instead of an abandoned mansion, like it was an abandoned mansion, but now it's an abandoned amusement park. Instead of a helicopter crashing in through the roof, it's a seaplane crashing in through a window. Instead of one drone shooting at bad guys with like machine guns, it's a whole fleet of drones. So yeah, they really doubled down. They really said, what works in the last movie? And then they got a whole list. All right, let's do that, but like double down this time. And it worked. It worked. Yeah, this continues. Armando is there with them. He's helping them fight off the bad guys, and he saves Judy. Yeah, the U.S. Marshal Howard's wife. Her name is Judy, and her daughter got kidnapped along with Mike's girlfriend by the bad guys. I mean, Mike's wife. So yeah, he saves Judy's daughter, and it leads to the scene where instead of Marcus in the last movie instead of Marcus convincing Mike not to kill his son, it's Judy's daughter convincing her mother not to kill Mike's son, Armando. And Armando, through the course of this film, helping the bad boys and saving Judy's daughter, he redeems himself for the events of the last movie, and Mike lets him get away. And the scene where they take out the bad guy is also kind of oh man, like it kind of reminded me, weirdly enough, of The Man, like the movie with Samuel L. Jackson and Eugene Levy, where like the guy had Eugene Levy at gunpoint, and he was holding him hostage, and it was up to Samuel L. Jackson to make the save, and he told him something that like clued him in, like, here's what I'm gonna do, because like it was really reminiscent of that when I kind of think about it. Also, it kind of reminded me of Bad Boys 2 when Marcus had to save Mike from getting shot by Johnny Tapia. It's a really well done movie, man. This movie is so well done. If I took a break to point out all the things in here that are like, hey, this kind of reminds me of this, or this is reference to this, I'd be here all day, man. Like, let new rock stars and Screen Rant do that stuff, man. They good at that stuff. But anyway, moving on. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed there wasn't a now that's how you're supposed to insert tasks that he just did. Like, first one was like, now that's how you're supposed to drive. And the second one, it's like, now that's how you're supposed to shoot. Like, I was expecting I don't know. There's not a lot of things you can do, and now that's how in this kind of series. But like, it was kind of, nice. But anyway, the film ends with the two cops cleared of all charges. Captain Howard is exonerated, and his name is cleared. And it ends at this cookout. Like Mike and Marcus are arguing about like who gets to grill, and like why don't you? And then Reggie shows up with some chicken. He's like, whoa, what are you doing here? Like, I'm here like permission to cook some grill some chicken. It's like nah, man, like go on, like get out of here. Like this is like some real man stuff. Like you go set the table or make the potato salad or something, and he doesn't move. He just like stands there, and they're like, "Is he still standing there, man? Like the skin kind of weird." Yeah, it ends like eventually he weirds them out, and they're like, "Hey, you know what? We'll go set the table and get some salad. You know what? You handle the chicken, man. Like you got this." And it brings his story full circle almost, because when he entered the the Bad Boys franchise in the second movie, it began with Marcus and Mike clowning him together and making him really uncomfortable, and he had to leave. And now this film ends with him like silently making them uncomfortable, and they leave, and he's just left there like smiling, like, yeah. Oh shit, man. Yeah, I'll give this movie props, man. I enjoyed watching this movie. It's a solid 8 out of 10 movie. Got amazing camera work. explosive action. I'm glad that they're now out of the Michael Bay shadow. They got a lot of nods to like Michael Bay's like movies in the Bad Boys series and like the style of filmmaking that shows the clear reverence and respect they have for this franchise. And it's something that happens a lot when the people directing a movie are fans of the franchise the movie they're directing is in. So yeah, I'm glad they did their own thing with this film. And I will also say this. After seeing this movie and Bad Boys 3, I will say, man, okay, number one, this movie should have been called Bad Boys for Life. Last movie should have been called Ride or Die. Number two, after seeing these two movies and seeing what they're doing with Beverly Hills Cop 4, there is no effing way, no freaking way that these guys made a Batgirl movie so bad that it would risk tanking the career of everyone in it. There is no freaking way these two directors, as good as they are, made a Batgirl movie so bad that it had to be canceled. Warner Brothers is lying to you. You're listening to this, man. Like, release Batgirl, all right? That's all I got to say. Moonlight Kingdom Reviews, Bad Boys.
I stay loose, I stay tight, I